Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment says shellfish washed ashore or collected from subtidal zones in St. Helena Bay and Elandsbaai are unsafe for consumption. It confirmed that a large number of dead white mussels and other shellfish have washed up in that area over the past 48 hours. The department's Stephen Lamberth joins us live just for a little bit more details on this. I think perhaps, Stephen, if you could explain what has caused this recent mass die-off of shellfish.
Hello. Well, 3 days ago, our fisheries control officers who are on the ground on the coast, they picked up on all these shellfish washing up, in particular white mussels, which are very popular for people to eat. And on looking at them, we could see that all of their muscular feet, which they used to burrow with, they were all paralyzed. So what had happened is that they become paralyzed and then unable to burrow, and then they were washed out by the waves onto the shore. So the most common cause of this is it's a toxin, a very potent neurotoxin that comes from different phytoplankton, these little microscopic plants in the sea. And basically these mussels, so they're filter feeders, they're filtered out of the water, goes on, they become paralyzed, and then end up getting washed up. So the most likely cause, and I was observing that this was happening, the most likely cause of this washout and of these mortalities is a very potent neurotoxin from algae. In this case, probably something like what you call a saxitoxin, and it is very dangerous, very toxic to humans who eat these mussels. And so everyone's advised to keep away from them.
And that was going to be my next question in regards to these neurotoxins and how dangerous they are to humans. I mean, it's shocking that the department would have to, in fact, even issue out this statement, given the fact that some people are attempting to consume them. But just talk to us about the dangers. What could this do to an individual who, picks up some of these shellfish and attempts to consume them?
Well, because of neurotoxin, and that's what it's impacting. It's impacting on your neurons, your nerve function, and communications of that. So a lot of time you're going to end up shutting down, and you're going to die. And that's any mammal, not just us. It's our pets walking on the beach, and your dogs happen to eat some of the dead animals. There's a good chance they're going to get very sick very quickly and die. So neurotoxin is high impact. It's very dangerous. So you just have to stress over and over again, don't eat any of these shellfish that are washing up, and don't collect any, because there are lots of them that are still in the sea who would have eaten these plankton, and they will be toxic.
And I'm curious to know, how frequent is a phenomenon like this? Does this happen often? And perhaps as well, what is behind the latest, wash up of these shellfish?
Okay. Washouts, these type of washouts and mass mortalities of marine animals, fish and shellfish, they're frequent, but for different reasons. In terms of, sometimes it's for low oxygen, sometimes it's because of very high temperatures, very low temperatures. Sometimes it's because of other toxins, diuretic toxins and things like that. They have different effects, but they still make people very sick and still kill animals. But in this instance, this paralytic shellfish poisoning one, at this scale, talked about with mass mortalities to quite reasonably big areas on the West Coast. The scale of this one, the parallax of this, and this is the first one with a scale that we've recorded since around about 2000. And that one back then was in Table Bay. There's been small events, but none of these big events since then. So it's been a while.
And I can imagine for local communities, as you've said, wash-ups are something that are frequent, and so they would know what to do. But it's December, it's, well, January, in fact, and a lot of people, as we've been seeing, are in, the West Coast. They're enjoying the beaches. They may not know, in terms of tourists, what to do in these particular moments. A message, perhaps, that we should be pushing, not only in regards to the dangers of consuming this washed-up shellfish, but also the treatment of marine life as tourists, and many of those that are not from the local towns and from the local community of the West Coast are heading to those shorelines.
Important part
All right.
to get that.
Stephen, I'm just going to ask you to repeat that again. Sorry, we may have just lost you in that sound.
Yeah, I think this process, and in terms of your media coverage you've got at the moment and that you're providing, is very important to getting that message out there, because it's just a warning. It's common sense. If people don't know about it, then they become vulnerable. If they know about it, if they've got the information, then they can avoid, they come into contact with them, avoid collecting them, and avoid eating any of these animals until we are confident, until we've done the necessary tests, that it's no longer in the populations of these species. But the only thing we do at the moment is don't eat them, don't collect them, don't eat them, and don't feed them to anyone else or to any of your pets.
All right. Well, thank you for that update. A very crucial message coming out there, as of course the department tries as well to figure out and does its own investigations into the potential harm in this. Thank you so much. That was Stephen Lamberth. All right. Well.